So basically, today I just want to get a little bit into my journey, where I'm at. I think if you watched my other videos, you'll kind of see that I am a aspiring entrepreneur. I'm fairly new in the game. I've had my business now for a year and a half. I did a whole video, part one and part two, on some of the challenges that I've run into in terms of starting up my business and what I've been through. I'm proud to say that yes, I actually have a business that generates me income, but now I'm at that stage where I'm trying to move from being a startup to being a large sustainable corporation. So I think with that, or with choosing to undertake this journey of entrepreneurship, I realized that there's a lot of things. Just fix the camera here, right? I realized that there's a lot of things that in my personal life, and specifically my personal finances, that I had to get right before I can be like, okay, right, I'm an entrepreneur, and kind of, because I think anybody who's started a business, yes, definitely, you can start a business with no capital whatsoever. In the beginning, it doesn't matter. It's quite easy to navigate. But as your business grows, as you start to realize that you need to employ people, as you start to realize that there's certain things that you must do slightly more professionally. For example, getting a website. Up to now, I don't have a website, which I on that point, I just want to point out that a lot of people go into business with they pump money into a fancy website, fancy offices as well. And definitely, I think if you have the means to be able to absorb that type of expenditure so early on, definitely go that route. Do that, because you are saving yourself the stress in the long run. But I think going down to the basics, business ultimately is about generating money. I think a lot of people get caught up in the I'm starting, I've done this, I've done that, and please don't misunderstand me. I am not a business expert. I am not a business guru, but from what I know, and everybody that has spoken into my life, what they have said to me is ultimately the thing you need to focus on is working in your business. Your business needs to generate money, and from that money that you generate, you can then proceed and do the other things. I think one thing that my dad said to me recently, so I kind of have plans to, it's happening already, but I haven't really formalized it, but basically to start a new sales division of my business, because my business focuses on providing a service to a client. I go to your house, I make it look nice, then I leave. So now I kind of looked into the fact that, okay, cool, I can actually sell a product. That way it lowers my expenditure, or my it allows me to offer my services at a cheaper price if I'm also selling the product. So I'll be buying the product from myself in theory and reselling that product to my client. And the most important thing that my dad said to me is that you mustn't use your personal finances for business, which then goes back to what I'm saying, that ultimately the best way is to start. It doesn't have to be a big operation. You start small. You go in there, you generate money in your business, you save that money, you take that money and pump it back into your business, and ultimately grow your business. Anyway, that's me sidetracking slightly. Like I said, when I undertook this business and I got into it, I started to realize, oh my goodness, I actually need more capital to be able to move my business from point A to point B. Then I kind of started thinking to myself, okay, cool, I need to get my personal finances right. As a young person, I think there's a little bit of, I don't know if you call it pride or arrogance or lack of knowledge, whatever it is that you want to look at it as, and you kind of go through life thinking, okay, cool, I'm qualified, I have a job, I can generate money, which yes, is true, so long as you're fit and able. Definitely, I mean, even if you're going to business, you're still generating money. But I think like savings personally was a thing. It's still a thing I'm struggling with, but I think I'm getting better now. Savings, budgeting, all those basic personal finance rules, insurance, life cover. I recently discovered there's a thing called credit life insurance. I was like, what? Really? Anyhow, because I didn't even know. I've never sat down to analyze my statements to that level of, and then I guess it also goes down to personality. You have to study your personality. You have to know, okay, cool, what kind of a person am I? For me, I like nice things. I like having freedom. I like traveling. I like things that ultimately use money. So, pretty much since last year in June, I had to sit down and tell myself, okay, now I must get serious. Time is going. I'm not getting younger, and there are more important things I want to do than just eating at fancy restaurants and buying clothes and blah blah. And again, nothing wrong with that. I still have a love for sitting in well, obviously now it's coronavirus, it's locked down, you can't really sit in a nice restaurant, but before, that's definitely a thing I like to do. But I think one thing I had to learn is, okay, don't do it with a lack of thought. You have to sit down, you have to plan. At the end of every month, cool, I had to create a budget. And I think on the point of budgets, a budget is a dynamic document. So basically, you don't sit there and say, okay, cool, I'm drawing a budget, I will never deviate from the budget. Life happens, things happen. You walk past the shop, you like, I really have been wanting that handbag. You go in the shop and you buy the handbag. But I think the important thing for me, or in my experience, to learn about budgeting is that at the end, you must account for every single amount that is going out. Like you can't just say, okay, right, it's fine. There must be an element of, okay, cool, I bought a handbag. So now that I bought the handbag, what thing in my life is offsetting that expense? So either you must know that, okay, cool, whatever savings you've got is absorbing that expense, or you must know that somewhere down the line you have another way of getting that money back, because it's about checks and balances, and basically saying that, okay, right, it's fine, I'm spending money on this, but I know that the money, so at the end, when that, let's say I've earned 10 Rand, or I got a salary of 10 Rand, and at the end of the month, I have spent 9 Rand 50. Or, if savings is not important to you, then you've spent the whole entire 10 Rand. So that you don't, at the end, sit in a situation where you need to loan money from someone, you need to borrow from the bank, credit cards. Ooh, I can tell you, I can do a whole video on a credit card alone, but that's not the purpose of this video. Yeah, so basically it's that kind of understanding to say, okay, right, I actually want to move from point A to point B, and therefore I must have and I must be able to live within my means. And you know, some of these things, like I'm thinking now, I'm 26, I've been working for almost 5 years. This is something I am literally starting to get right now. 5 years into working, 5 years into supporting myself mostly, I'm only realizing, or these principles are only clicking in my mind now, but actually they are really important things. And I think the younger you start to get it right, the better for your life. Yeah, so budgeting, and then credit. Whew, wow, credit. I think the person I've heard, great YouTuber, financial guru, Nicolette Mashile.